Hello and welcome to Talk Lit Get Hit, a podcast where we read questionable books recommended to us by social media and talk shit about them.
We're Bridget, Eryn and Laura, three friends who haven't mentally progressed since high school, where we bonded over a love of music and books, but mainly Twilight.
Brace yourself for a heady cocktail of somewhat highbrow and incredibly lowbrow ramblings about all the books the internet loves and our journey to figure out why.
Welcome to the fourth instalment and bonus round of our chat about the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J Maas. This episode is a little Christmas treat for you in that there are two on the same day, and for us in that it's a short book and marks the end of our time with this series. Hooray.
This does feel a long time coming.
Oh my god. So maybe we should think about the year that was, 2022. How was it for everybody?
This feels like we're about to get into school captain speech time.
As we
Thank you. That was.
Bridget, Eryn, you guys have been my rocks.
It is funny though because not yesterday, on 2 days ago, it was 11 years since we graduated.
Stop it.
Whoa.
Crazy.
That makes me sad.
And like working in a high school every year, when it comes to November, I'm like, it starts getting really hot and I just like transports me back to like the last week of school and like,
Oof.
Yeah, it's quite nice, but at the same time it's a bit sad.
Sounds emotionally draining.
Yeah.
I couldn't do what you do, and like, I guess it's a bit different for you because yours aren't always grade 12s, but I couldn't do it where every year you had to say goodbye to another lot of students.
Yeah.
Like,
I get really sad at the end of every year.
yeah, that'd be so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess yearly roundup instead of our monthly roundup.
Easy peasy.
Which is cute. Wins, highlights, fave books. Let's talk about it.
I feel like this year, I mean, same as the last 2 years, but haven't really done much because of COVID. And like Eryn and I, we live in a different city than Laura does, and we didn't really have any COVID cases until this year.
No!
End of last year. Very end of last year. We didn't have any COVID cases.
Okay. That's not how I remember it.
What do you remember?
That's not my truth.
I remember it happening in 2020.
No, we didn't have any community transition until last year.
I don't know. I trust you. Continue.
We sort of went back, like, started this year, we were, like, back in lockdown, I guess, as well. Do you not remember this?
No? When were we in lockdown?
At the start, not like official lockdown, but, like, I didn't go anywhere because I didn't want to get COVID. Like, we didn't go to trivia.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, now I see where we're coming from.
So it wasn't really, this is the year it kicked off in Toowoomba.
Maybe our pod will get flagged for COVID misinformation.
No, I forgot that we didn't go to trivia for like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, because it was running rampant. Well, the school, so we delayed the start by 2 weeks. We did 2 weeks of online learning, which we haven't done since 2020. So yeah, this was the time it kicked off. So I haven't really done, like, I feel like I haven't done anything.
For me, I remember it was COVID like 3.0, 4.0, whatever at the start of this year as well, because I remember isolating from Brown on an air mattress reading these books.
Aww.
And didn't you get COVID after you went out for New Year's Eve?
I think so. I tested positive for COVID on a PCR, but I was pretty asymptomatic, so that was quite a fortunate situation. But I've had it again since, unfortunately.
We had New Year's here.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was this year, wasn't it?
I FaceTimed you guys. That was cute.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, it was so cute. This was the year that we all got COVID, so that was a bonding experience.
And the year that we started a podcast, which arguably maybe a more of a bonding experience.
Yeah, much more.
Other than
I didn't know we had that much more bonding to do. But
Yeah.
clearly
I think
there's more.
Instead of extending up, it's just extended out.
I have a couple of wins I can think of off the top of my head. So concerts came back. My reason for living has returned. That is the biggest win for me this year. I have spent way too much money buying concert tickets.
No such thing.
Well, it's now at the point where I don't actually know how I'm getting to all of these concerts. From like the start of December, I've got days off every week of work until like March now because
That's amazing.
There's just so many things happening.
Sounds like heaven.
It is good news for me. It makes me very happy to have that back. The other big win for me was I finished Kingdom Hearts, which is a game I've been playing for a very long time, and I finished it in January. And when I finished it, after years and years and years of playing it, I could not stop crying. It's easily my biggest achievement ever, I think. I was so happy to finish that game.
I'm really happy for you.
Thank you so much. It is my biggest achievement.
I don't think I've ever finished a game, so that is very impressive.
It's the second game ever I finished. So the first game was Batman Arkham Asylum.
Ooh.
And then this one, which I guess for context, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts since it came out 20 years ago. So I played it on the PlayStation 2 for ages, and I was just really bad at it. It is objectively a very hard game if you're bad at video games, which I am. And so I've just been like playing it, and then my PlayStation 2 version died. And so I had to start all over again in, I think, 2019. Then I finished it this year.
I think I finished 3 games.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
I finished the original Crash Bandicoot.
Yep.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, but I think I don't know if I finished it on PlayStation 1 or when it was remastered on Switch. But I finished it. I finished the PlayStation 2 game for A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's such a good game.
Amazing. And I finished probably the best game ever made, Kim Kardashian Hollywood.
Oh, can you finish it?
Yeah.
Well, I got to like number 1 on the A list
Hell yeah.
3 times, and that's sort of like the end of. You can keep playing, but I mean, you've reached the pinnacle.
Do they like roll the credits and stuff?
No,
Oh.
actually, I did finish another game, but it's not really a long game. It was so fun though, and it was called Wildflowers with a Y. It's on Apple Arcade, but I think they've just released it on Switch, and it was so cool. Like you play as like a girl who finds out like her grandma was a witch. You got like solve mysteries. It was really cool. Brian, Maddie, and I played it like in a fever for like 3 weeks, and then we all finished it, and then it's so good. So if you're looking for a fun game, Wildflowers. It's so good.
Are we gamer girls? Yeah. What about you, Laura?
I guess like a major win for me was getting a new job. That really changed things. I had a great team at my old job, and the work was kind of interesting, but I just think I didn't realize how much the not so great elements of the job were affecting me until I started a new one, which was really fun, and I find it really rewarding, and I love who I work with. So that has been a really great part of the year, and it kind of has split my year in 2, so I struggle to keep a track of what has actually happened this year. But yeah, definitely same as you, the return of gigs has been so good, so fun. We've had not quite as many as it seems like you have lined up, but at least like 2 a month for the past few months. But it's really getting to the end part of the year, and I'm so excited. There's so many still to go.
What about books? Like favourite books this year?
It's actually been a pretty mediocre reading year for me, I reckon. I've read a lot of books where I just thought that was fine. But one that I remember standing out was Bodies of Light by Jennifer Down, who's an Australian author. It was just, oh man, here we go again, me not being able to explain it. But it was just some people. It is just people living their lives, but it's beautifully written and quite heavy. So you know me, I always enjoy that kind of stuff. And another one was Oh William by Elizabeth Strout. She's one of my favourite authors as well. And I loved it's a sort of second book from Olive Kitteridge, which is one of my favourite books of all time, / a book that she wrote. And again, just people living their lives, but it's just so beautifully written, and there's just something so tender about it that makes me want to break down and cry. So yeah, those were probably my book highlights.
Cool. I think, like you, I have not read a lot of great stuff this year. My reading challenge for this year was only 20, and I think I'm currently at 19, so I'm on track. I'd say my top books for this year was Malibu Rising and the book Love Stories by Trent Dalton. It's like an anthology of all these stories that people told the author when he sat down in a busy street in Brisbane and just asked them to tell him their love stories. And it is so sad. I cried a lot, but it was really nice. And like, it had some wanky commentary by the author, but at the end of the day, it was just a really nice insight into people's lives and like a reflection on love and what it means to different people. So that was probably one of my favorite books. And I've also somehow gotten into manga this year, so that's exciting.
Cool. What are you reading?
Alice in Borderland. So if you have seen the Netflix show... it's like Squid Gamey vibes, but it's Japanese. And so, because I really liked the show, I decided to give the manga a go. And so far it's really like, obviously the show is really true to the source material, but also it builds the tension in a very different way because obviously it's a different medium. So I'm really liking it so far.
That's cool. I kind of dipped my toe into watching anime this year.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I loved it because I think I had this idea that it was just like, I don't know, like Sailor Moon type cheerful, like heroic stories. But dipped my toe in by watching Attack on Titan, which was anything but. And I loved
Basically just fell in.
Yeah. It completely consumed my life. I became obsessed with the soundtrack as well. I think one of the songs is going to be one of my most listened to songs on Spotify. It's called Barricades, and it's got a real kind of like Fall Out Boy sort of vibe.
Fave books, B-Bell.
I think like this year for me was a really good reading year. Last year was not good. I think because I was doing uni. Oh, I finished uni this year.
That's a win.
What about that? That feels like a million years ago. Last year I only read 18 books, which is crazy. This year my goal was 20 books and I've read 64.
That is insane.
18 is like my average.
Yeah, you're a beast.
64, and I reckon I could I don't know. I reckon I could maybe.
Ooh.
I don't know. I could
set the goal right now.
I reckon I could maybe hit 100 by the end of the year.
Shit, yeah.
I think
we're on holidays in 3 weeks.
I think that's completely fair because, like, I watch your progress pop up on Goodreads. Like, you're reading King Lear, and I'm like, good luck. Like, I'd love to see how quickly she gets through this one. And then 2 hours later, it's like, Bridget has updated her progress. She's finished.
But I think the best, I don't know, I sort of forget them pretty quickly after I've read them, but the one that's sticking out of my mind, I've read a lot of like pretty, not bad, but like just fluffy. Like The Summer I Turned Pretty, ACOTAR.
What do you mean?
Just things like that. But I really liked Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason.
Oh, yeah.
I just read that recently. I really liked it. I think it's the first book in a while that I've stayed up late to finish.
Nice.
It was really good. Yeah.
I enjoyed that one too. Left me feeling a bit hollow.
Yeah.
You do love to finish a book and feel sad, don't you, Laura?
I do.
I also take on the personality of the book as well, like after I finish reading it. Like after I finished reading Sorrow and Bliss, like she's sort of like it's sort of like a book about her struggles with mental health and how it affects like her marriage and her like long suffering husband and things, and just like also talking about like, do they want kids, do they not want kids, and like all these problems that I don't have in my life, but I was like just moping around for a few days afterwards.
Suddenly an existential crisis.
Oh, I'm 45 and I haven't had kids. Is that the right decision? Like, yeah.
That's heavy.
It's a good book though. I recommend it.
It sure sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, Spotify / Apple Wrapped. What do we think the top songs are going to be? I think I already know what yours will be.
I mean, you guys go first because there's no tension for mine. It's quite boring.
I embarrassingly think my top song is going to be Love and Touch and Squeezing by Journey.
What the hell is that?
I've listened to it so many times. Laura would know it from the Glee days.
Yeah, I do. Maybe you should sing a sample and we'll do a mashup.
I think mine will either be that or like Something in the Way by Nirvana. I listened to that a lot
post-Batman.
Because it was just stuck in my head from the movie.
Eryn made me watch Batman this year.
That is the highlight, actually. The Batman movie was incredible. Me making everyone I know watch it was also incredible.
It was good.
The noise Bridget made does not reflect how much she actually liked it.
I did like it, but I didn't really know what I was getting myself in for.
Were you scared?
Well,
she was.
when the lights sort of were going down.
Oh my God, it was so good.
I said to Eryn, is this going to be scary or something? Like, what did I say?
Yeah, it was something like, is this going to be scary? And I was like, I don't know. It depends what you find scary. And you were like,
everything.
Well, you were like, oh, like jump scares are scary. And I'm like, probably then.
I don't think you even answered me. I think you just looked at me and were like, too late now.
Yeah.
Like, strap in.
Good luck. Yeah.
And like, it was pretty spooky. It's a spooky movie.
Yeah, I liked it. And then I thought, okay, well, it was sort of more Maddie and Brian. They were like, let's watch more Batman. And I was like, okay. So we watched like 2 and then we lost interest.
No, you watched the original one.
Yeah.
And then you watched Batman Returns and Batman Forever.
Oh, so we watched 3.
I love that you have a better memory of this than Bridget.
Yeah.
I was heavily invested in this. This was so like funny. My time to bring my friends into the Batman journey.
I'm sorry I didn't try hard enough.
They all abandoned ship. That's fine.
I liked bits of them.
But then also I would get these crazy questions and I'm like, I don't want to deal with this.
Well, like when we walked out of the movie, I was like, who was that old man?
Oh, she didn't even know who Alfred was. And then she was like, where's his brother? There isn't a brother. There's no brother.
I thought that was a
brother. Oh my God.
And I was like, how did the parents die?
And because I was like, oh, it's so good. This is like the first Batman movie where they don't show how the parents die.
Same.
Yeah, I wish I knew how they died. No, Bridget.
There were so many questions that I had. I can't remember them because they were making you so angry. It was so funny.
I felt pure rage. And then at one point we started talking about like the Robins. And then they were like, this sounds predatory. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. He's adopting them.
Yeah, like he's grooming them.
Anyway, I'm getting worked up again.
You saying that you listened to the Nirvana song, though, just immediately has got this TikTok sound in my head that's just something in my ass.
This plays in my head so often.
It's polluted my mind.
So funny. Laura, what do you think your top one will be?
I think if it's not that song from the song Barricades from the Attack on Titan soundtrack, then it'll definitely be a Carly Rae song. So she just released her album at the end of the year, but I've been putting in the work. And I think it could maybe be Anxious by Carly Rae from her new album because it is so good.
Do you want to guess which one you think it will be for me?
It's definitely going to be a Taylor song.
Oh, yeah.
I controversially think it will be All Too Well 10-minute version.
Yeah,
Taylor's
I
version.
agree.
I actually think that's going to be high up there on mine.
Yeah. I think the entirety of Midnights will be up there, but I don't know if it could knock off 10 months of All Too Well 10-minute version.
Yeah. And like anytime I saw you made me watch that, whether it was the video or like the music video, whatever.
And everyone I spoke to, I made them watch it too. And not just one version.
Yeah, all the versions.
Yeah,
you
like
made me watch every single version.
The lyric video. Yeah.
We went to our friend's house and we put it on.
But you know what? That doesn't count when I'm watching it on someone else's YouTube. Sadly, it doesn't count.
We had New Year's here and we argued about it.
For hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be that.
Probably.
But off Midnights. I don't know what song I think it would be off Midnights. I hope it's not like, I think it was last year my top artist was Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, well, I remember that.
That's so embarrassing.
No, his album is good.
It's so funny because I could not tell you one of his songs.
As a pop punk fan, like his album is good.
No.
He's just a bit of a wanker.
No.
Shut up, Laura.
No.
I'm not one for separating the art from the artist. So, because this is a Christmas book, we think, we thought this would be
from what we read,
Christmas episode. And I thought it might be nice if we quickly talked about our Christmas because obviously, I mean, I don't know where you're listening from, but we live in Australia, so Christmas is in summer. So it's a bit different from traditionally shown Christmases.
Definitely different from Christmas in the book.
Eryn, what does your Christmas look like? Take us through.
Our Christmas is pretty low-key, to be honest. It's mainly lunch. I have a pretty big family and my brothers have children, so everyone kind of gathers for lunch. We only really do presents for the children. Then everyone goes home at some point and my sister, my mum and I usually play Scrabble.
Oh, cute.
Nice. Yeah. Our bigger event is probably Boxing Day because then it's like a barbecue.
Oh.
Yeah, and the cricket's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and my sister are big cricket fans, so we prefer Boxing Day.
Cute. That sounds nice. But you, Laura?
Kind of the same. I have Normally Christmas for me is just like my mum, dad, brother, Brown, and my 2 sets of grandparents. We keep it pretty small. It's a little bit interesting each year because with like different health complications, there's like an increasingly limited array of food that my grandparents can eat. So, very sad for them. But the silver lining is this year I think we'll have like a big seafood smorgasbord because they can all eat seafood. So
nice.
That sounds luxurious. But yeah, it's normally a pretty small one. We have these neighbours, my mum and dad have these neighbours that are like old farmers. And they say some pretty outlandish stuff. And they get on the grog at like, I don't know, 9 a.m, maybe earlier.
Oh my God.
And we come over, they invite us over to their house and we just have some treats and champagne from then. And then Mum and I say, oh no, we have to start cooking. And then we leave. But it is pretty nice. Like
That's cute.
It's a funny tradition.
That's nice.
I can't believe you guys are drinking at 9 a.m. My mum has a firm no drinks before 11 rule.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's very my mum.
My family is not a quiet family at all. We are very loud. There's not that many of us, but normally, like, I don't know, it sort of changes every year. But normally, like, my brother's girlfriend, my sister's boyfriend, me and my mum, like, we'll have lunch or we'll just be there all day, basically, all night. Normally on Boxing Day, like, I'll go to my grandmother's house and, like, see my dad, and my brother and sister will come as well, and maybe some of my cousins. Our tradition is at my grandmother's house, when you finish a drink, you chuck the empty in the backyard.
Oh, that would be so annoying to clean up the next day.
Yeah, but we're not there, so.
Oh, you poor grandma.
No, she likes it. She encourages it.
Oh, that's cute.
When we get there's already like 20 there.
She's just
And I don't think there's a time limit on drinking.
Oh.
No.
It just starts. Yeah.
My sister will be so sad to hear that she's the only one getting restricted on this.
She can come to our house if she likes.
I think the tradition for my family is anytime Dad opens a present, no matter how small or how large, he says, "It's a new car!"
Oh, your dad is very consistent with jokes like that.
What's your favourite Christmas carol?
Ooh. Are we talking like favourite to listen to or favourite to sing? Because I think they're different.
Ooh.
I like that song. I don't think it's strictly a Christmas carol, but I like that song from The Snowman. Do you know the one, Walking in the Air or something like that?
Sia one.
But I don't really like the Sia version. I like the little schoolboy voice from The Snowman.
Oh, I don't know if I can pick a fave, but I know my least fave.
Oh, what is it?
And particularly this version. It's the Jingle Bells version, the Michael Bublé Jingle Bells version. And it's specifically because of that, "Merry Christmas, ladies. Merry Christmas, Mr. Bublé." I hate it so much. And then when they're like, "Yeah," I hate it. Shut up. Sing the song.
I actually forgot, like, a really, like, integral part of my family's Christmas. Like, we always listen to It's a High Five Christmas
Cute
CD, and we also listen to and watch It's a Wiggly Wiggly Christmas.
Oh, that's cute.
I like a sad Christmas song, though.
A ballad.
My favorite is not like traditionally. It's not a traditional one, but "White Wine in the Sun" by Tim Minchin. And Kate Miller-Heidke does a really good cover of it. And it's just nice because it's like about how, like, you might be anywhere in the world, but you know that, like, your brother and sister, your gran and your mum will all be drinking white wine in the sun, like, waiting for you whenever you come home.
Aww,
like, it's so nice.
Aww.
And it's like talking about, like, how he likes Christmas. He doesn't like it because of religious reasons or, you know, commercial, like, getting presents or anything, but he just likes it. He knows that wherever he goes, he'll have his family there.
That's
nice. That's really lovely.
I think that's a very Australian sentiment. Like, Australians aren't particularly religious about it. They just like the vibes of Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we should start talking about this bloody book.
Oh, I was having so much fun talking about Christmas.
Sorry. This episode is about A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is technically, I think, 3.1 of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. It's not like a main series book, bit of a spin-off, I guess. Mm-hmm. To me, it's a fan fiction book that was published for some reason. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it was only published to, like, set the scene and differentiate between the first 3 and then the next ones as Nesta's books.
I think she was, like, going through her plan for the next book and was like, oh, shit, I forgot to set some things up. So she thought, oh, I'll just write a quick 300 words, 300 pages, set that up so I don't have less work to do later.
I forgot to make the Illyrians misogynist.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. It seems like the kind of book that you write when you realise you forgot to include something in the previous book or you need a quick buck. So, yeah, wholeheartedly agree.
I guess before we really get stuck into slamming it, if you haven't read A Court of Frost and Starlight, be warned there will most certainly be spoilers within. And if you don't like rude words or are listening with young people around, proceed with caution.
Feyre, Rhysand and their friends are still busy rebuilding the Night Court and the vastly altered world beyond, recovering from the war that changed everything.
But the Winter Solstice is finally approaching, and with it, the joy of a hard-earned reprieve. Yet even the festive atmosphere can't keep the shadows of the past from looming.
As Feyre navigates her first Winter Solstice as High Lady, her concerns for those dearest to her deepens. They have more wounds than she anticipated, scars that will have a far-reaching impact on the future of their court.
Straight off the bat, I think Rhysand and Feyre are so boring in this. Like,
yeah.
Just like they're obsessed with this baby and they have sex in the sky. Just all these things that we're just, I was just so sick of reading them.
I think as a couple they're boring. I quite like Rhysand when he interacts with the other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Feyre seems to have had a personality transplant. Like, she's, like, tiptoeing around Elaine. She's tiptoeing around Nesta. She's, like, arguing with Amren because Amren's all of a sudden friends with Nesta. Like, she's just, I don't know, she just seems like a bit like a different person.
I agree.
Like, she seems like a mum already.
I think there was, like, a lot of inconsistency in the way that they were written. And I think Rhys has settled into this really weird, like, almost overbearing role. He was just a bit too paternal. In a way that gave me a bit of, like, dare I say, the ick. And Feyre is, yeah, just so boring. So boring in a different way. Like, before she was boring because you always knew she was going to, like, F something up, but now you are bored because she's just doing absolutely nothing.
And then I guess with the inner circle as well, like, they're all still just doing the same thing, except Amren, for some reason, is now friends with Nesta. Cassian and Azriel and Maura, they still have that weird dynamic going on.
Yeah, this book really does nothing to propel the story along, does it?
Yeah. Even though like, Cassian and Nesta sort of had this thing happening, but there's still like weird vibes between him, Maura and Azriel. But then I guess Cassian and Nesta, that's where it does sort of propel it along because they like they hate each other, but like he buys her a present and then she's like, go away, and he chucks it in the river after he has a little tantrum. I thought that was pretty funny.
I actually quite like how much Cassian likes Christmas and the vibes. Like, he's the first one to help Feyre decorate the house and stuff. That's cute.
Golden Retriever energy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Nesta, drunk, 24/7, traumatized, just hanging out in any pub that will have her. Elaine is still being boring.
So boring. But I did love the scene where Amren was like, you know what? Doesn't matter how much you want to become a human again, because you're never going to be human again. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, music to my ears.
Yeah, best ever.
She needs to take a leaf out of Nesta's book. Go.
Yeah, just go deal with it.
Yeah. Then you can realize that your human fiance wasn't like that amazing anyway. Just find someone else.
All the fairies apparently bang better anyway. Like.
Or Elaine was dick struck.
But do we think that Nesta's reaction is proportionate to what happened to her? Like, what do we think about that?
In some ways, yes, if we take it all in. But if it's just about the dad, no.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't think the way she's acting tracks with how much she did or should have cared about her dad, because the whole time that he was alive, she was like, he's a sack of shit who does nothing for us, as she should. And then what? Because he named his ship Nesta and rocked up and then got his neck snapped or whatever happened, now she's all sad about it? Like,
exactly.
It wasn't even her job to save him. Like, he shouldn't have been there. And she should be sad about other things, but I don't know if it's proportionate.
I did feel bad when I think at one point she got home from maybe arguing with Cassian or something, but She got home and the fire was crackling because she hates fire.
And
it reminds her of the dad's neck snapping. I thought that was sad. That sort of, I guess because it was a bit more like visceral.
Yeah.
Sort of made me feel sad for her.
Yeah.
Because I think I was just forgetting what had happened. I was like, what is wrong with you?
But something like that is what you need to know why she's sad.
Something really explicit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to me it makes sense if it's she's messed up from what happened to her and what she saw happen to her dad, but it makes less sense if she's sad because her dad's dead, because to my eyes, he gave her nothing.
Go King, give us nothing.
Does anything interesting actually happen with Elaine? Because I don't remember anything.
I think the long and short of it is that she doesn't do anything interesting in this apart from be like, I'm so despondent. Do I like Lucian? Do I like Asriel?
As always, I want to talk about sad boy Lucian and how sad he is, because even when Feyre tries to involve him in their stuff, he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I've been disowned twice now, like by my family and then by Tamlin, because Tamlin's rejected me because I sided with you guys, and now Tamlin's pining by himself. Like, poor Lucian.
And they're still being mean to Lucian. Like,
yeah, I really don't like the way they treat Lucian.
Has he not proven himself enough?
No.
I know, he's abandoned by his family, abandoned by Tamlin. Like, just cut him some slack. And then they're still weird about him and Elaine.
Yeah.
Imagine if someone tried to keep Rhysand from, like, Feyre.
Poor Lucian.
So, yeah, a little Christmas novella. It sort of reminds me of The Sims, because they don't call it Christmas, they call it Winter Solstice. And it's a bit like how in The Sims, Winterfest.
Winterfest.
It's like they're scared of being sued by...
Like it's a concert.
Like Christmas Incorporated or something. It's too real to have it be called Christmas, so it has to be Winter Solstice. And it's Feyre's birthday. Isn't Feyre's birthday Winter Solstice as well? So what presents does she get? She gets a scarf. She gets some painting shit.
God. Satchel.
She gets a satchel, and then Rhysand buys her the property. Like, he buys an estate where they're going to move to,
with a room for a baby.
Again, boring.
The filler shit in this is so like insipid. Like, they have a snowball fight. Like, just punch me in the throat. I don't want to read that.
I like that.
I hated it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was like, please tell me less.
I guess I like it in the sense that I like the idea of them having that and having that as a tradition, but being forced to read that outside of a fan fiction is boring.
To be honest, the purpose of this book was what? A bit of fan service, and maybe to set up that discord's brewing in the Illyrians, the war's not over, shit still could hit the fan at any point in time, Nesta's not doing well, and just kind of to pave the way for the next book. But I personally think it would have been just way more interesting to start the new series fresh from Nesta's point of view, have her, like, her trauma from her own point of view, rather than going through the whole, like, oh my God, we have to cut Nesta off, she's spending too much money, like, Nesta broke into the cellar and drank the expensive wine, and to have that awareness of war and, like, her role still to play, rolling in from her own perspective as she's trying to process everything that's happened to her. I think that would have been way better.
Yeah, for sure. Something I did want to talk about, though, is Tamlin. So Tamlin is sad, understandably, but something that I think is pretty cooked is when Rhysand visits him and he's like, yo, why haven't you been guarding your borders properly? And Tamlin's like, bro, I don't have an army. You ruined my whole life. What am I going to defend my court with?
But then Rhysand offers...
Yeah.
To give him an army. No, I don't want those brutes. Oh, what do you want? Do you want, like, do you want help or not?
Yeah. Just like, maybe don't be so mean about it in the first place.
Yeah. But on the Tamlin, like, I was so sad when, what's the word, Laura? When he was rotting out. Is that what that TikTok was? It was so funny.
He was rotting out in the spring court.
Rotting out in the spring court, and Rhysand went to visit him, and he had the elk just in front of him, like a dead elk, and then Rhysand, I think they like cooked it for him.
Yeah. He was like,
nice.
Fine. Someone wrote a fanfic about that.
Yeah, that'd be good to read. But then he said, will Feyre ever forgive me? So he's realised that he did the wrong thing, I think, which is good. And then Rhysand says, I'm not the person who can answer that question. And then he says, well, can you ever forgive me? for what happened to your family. And he said, well, you never apologised. And then Tamlin, what did he say?
It wouldn't have made a difference.
Oh, but that was a bit of a heartbreaker.
This is what's so sad. They have so much history. They obviously care for each other because they care about the other's opinions and their welfare. But we see none of that. And, like, the fact that Rhysand even stuck around to fix the food for Tamlin, mating bond. Like, it's just, I want more of it. I want to know, because as we discussed in the last episode, Tamlin thinks about Rhysand with all his, like, preconceived notions of Rhysand, not really who Rhysand is, which is why I think the comment about, like, it wouldn't have made a difference is so sad, because that would have made a difference for Rhysand. Like, he probably would have not gotten over it, but at least forgiven Tamlin or, like, understood where he was coming from if they just spoken about it. But Tamlin just, like, broods and cries himself to sleep.
It would have been so satisfying if there was some sort of closure on their relationship, because I find, like, just as satisfying as enemies to lovers, like an enemies to unlikely allies or friends. It's so good. I would have loved to see, if not a happy ending, just a bit more closure for Tamlin.
Yes. And, like, maybe that's still coming. It would be nice to see, like, Tamlin reach a point where he can kind of return to the banter that they used to have, but obviously from a friendlier perspective than when they hated each other.
When she said, I'm ready to have a baby. Okay, switching off.
Yeah, I do not care. No. I don't like children. I don't like fictional children. I don't like pregnancy. Like, I don't want to hear about it.
And I just think that this arc is at odds with the kind of idea of who Feyre is that they were, I don't know, Sarah J Maas was trying to push throughout. Like, I just hate the idea that her story isn't complete without ticking the box of motherhood. Like, I'm happy for that to come, but does it have to be the final note, like the thing that makes her story complete in this 4-book little treat of a series?
And how long has she even been immortal for? Like, just jump straight in.
Like, experience literally anything.
Yeah.
Like, for 19 years, your life was like the hovel you lived in with your family, and now you have a whole brand new world at your fingertips, and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? Have a baby.
And she was in the Spring Court only a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Probably spent half the time sad and wanting to go back to the human land.
Yeah.
Then she was under the mountain for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then she was fighting with Tamlin back and forth through sand. And then they went straight into war.
Yeah.
And now we've settled down. Let's have a baby. Like, go visit the other courts or something, or just do anything other than have a baby.
Go learn how to actually paint, maybe. But the other thing that, like, it doesn't make sense to me, because at no point before this book did she ever mention, like, wanting to have kids or, like, maternal instincts. None of that. Yeah. And it just comes out of nowhere.
And I am trying to not reference Twilight with every breath. Every breath that I have. But, God, this is Twilight, because Bella had no intentions of becoming a mother until she became pregnant. And then that became her whole personality. And this is the same thing. And obviously the baby's going to have the same problems. Like, it's going to be a problem. That's going to be a big thing.
It's so funny that you say not to reference Twilight, because I was literally about to open my mouth to say not to reference Twilight. But the whole thing as well, where she's like, yeah, baby, I want to have a kid with you. He's like, okay, cool. And then the next day, like, whisks her away to this little location and is like, here is where we will make our home. Like, and he starts immediately, like, nesting and protecting the baby. It was so much like Edward when he builds that little cabin and there's a rose garden and all that shit. Oh, God.
And he might be ready for it because he's a million years old. But like, Feyre's, 21 maybe?
Exactly.
Calm down.
Like, with so much of the other stuff he did, he was like, you know what, take your time. Like, you're brand new to all this. Like, just think about it. But with this, he's like, shit, yeah, it's baby time. She said it's baby time. It's baby time. Like, maybe just actually think about her and what she should be doing. Like, obviously it's her choice, but I feel like he, as someone who has been living longer probably could have given her a bit more guidance before being 100% on board with this latest harebrained idea she's got.
Yeah.
They haven't even lived a life together. Like, they've barely even lived a year together.
Yeah.
And he's off, like, solving problems that came out of the war. Like, yeah.
And half the time he doesn't even answer when she, like, calls on the soulmate bond or whatever.
He's too far away or whatever.
Yeah, like, is that really someone you want to be raising a child with, Feyre?
And also, you've lost him once, and you yourself have almost died once, or have died once. And you think that you would just have a little bit more, like, what kind of world am I bringing a child into? Maybe we should resolve our civil conflict before I'm like, as a Christmas present, let's have a baby.
Yeah, plus, like, there's not only is their court recovering from war and being, like, ripped through by the enemies, the whole country is, but then also their internal armies are fighting amongst themselves because they feel like they were led to the slaughter.
Yeah.
And Asriel's the only one doing anything about it.
Cassian's trying, but he can't stop thinking about Nesta.
Yeah, like, everyone else is focused on other shit, and Asriel's like, oh, I'll just go fix the armies then. Don't worry, guys, I got this one. Like, knowing all that, it does lead well into the fourth book. Like, it does set the scene. And to be fair to the author, I don't know where else she would have put this information. I guess the, like, misogyny in the Illyrian camps you probably could have put elsewhere.
Yeah.
But this setting the scene, you couldn't put it as a, like, epilogue to the third book. And it's not even really a prologue to the next book. Like, I kind of get that it doesn't fit.
I would argue that most of it is unnecessary.
Agreed.
Probably.
It's just fluff.
Yeah. I guess the army stuff could go in a prologue for the fourth book.
I just think, like, you're telling me in all, like, 703 pages of A Court of Wings and Ruin, there was nothing that you could trim out to make way for, like, just a 20-page chapter that explains some of this. I just think it was really unnecessary.
Yeah, or have, like, Feyre at one point across 3 books be like, my upbringing wasn't so great, but gee whiz, I'd love a baby sometime.
I would say that my, like, after our discussion, my opinion hasn't changed. I still hate it.
Yeah, I feel stronger.
The only thing that's changed for me is how much more of it I remember.
Yeah, same.
I listened to this as an audiobook and it was on, like, double speed. It was so fast. I did not care. I did not want to listen to it.
I think I read it on my phone and I was just like, scroll. Yeah. I mean, this is, we obviously know, but do we rate it lit or shit? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Shit.
I mean, favourite character? Do we want to do that?
I don't know that I have one.
I don't have, like, a positive thing to say.
No.
If I had to pick, it would either be Lucian or Tamlin, though. No, actually, Asriel. Asriel's doing all the hard work.
Yeah, Asriel for me, I guess. Even he gave me nothing. What about least favourite? So many to choose from.
Nesta was pretty fucking annoying.
She was. Rhysand was really annoying too.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the ick, which is sad. Well, I guess that's it for our little Christmas episode.
So festive.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
But more importantly, that's it for ACOTAR for now. That's the most important part. That's it. We've done it, fellas.
Thank the Almighty Lord.
We've decided to have a little bit of a break from ACOTAR before we do A Court of whatever it's called.
Silver
Flames?
Yeah.
A Court of Silver Flames. It's the best choice for our mental health and I guess yours as well as a listener.
For sure. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear us talk about how much we hate Nesta again.
And we have also decided that we're not doing fantasy for a long time.
Thank God.
And we're not doing series again for a long time.
Maybe a duology, but not a series.
Holy moly. What an undertaking.
I'm tired. So the next book we will be covering is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. We'll be back in a few weeks' time, but in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to hear our groundbreaking thoughts as soon as they're unleashed. And if you want to be on the same page as us, follow us at talklit.gethit on Instagram and TikTok.